So hello everyone, today we have with us our esteemed alumna from 2000 batch, Miss Sugandha. So how are you ma'am? How are you feeling today to...
Good, and I'm very excited to be a part of this project where you are interviewing the alumni from various years. And thank you for the invitation to meet you and understand what's happening on the ground.
We're more
And
happy to meet you ma'am
yeah,
today. So let's start with it, right?
sure, let's get
So
kickstarted.
let's begin with where all it started. So Delhi School of Economics. So what kind of student were you at DSE?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. When I first saw it, I was pretty, intrigued by it because it made me go back 25 years. And so I was, so just to give you a brief background, after my 12th, I did my undergrad in BBS. And then post completion of that, I joined MIB, Masters of International Business. And at that point in time, it was a batch size of 40, and we had, mix of all. We had people from physics, maths, those kind of streams, and we had some management grads as well. And I think I was a fairly good student. I was in the top 3 or 4 students, and my specialization was marketing for undergrad. So that's why when I chose MIB, my focus was more on the marketing subjects than the finance subjects. However, having said that, I entered into banking, which is a financial services after completion of MIB.
So like currently we are now having a batch size of 80. So
Right.
now it's double the size. So were you part of any committee, cells or clubs?
Yeah, so I was a part of the alumni committee, and at that point in time, I think the initial batches were from 1990s, and some, I think it started in 1989, 90. So we got in touch with all of them, and we had an alumni dinner which was hosted inside the premises.
So was it called
itself.
Reminiscence itself?
It was called Reminiscence, yes.
So yeah, you
It's
can
been
see that ma'am has laid the foundation for Reminiscence and
Yeah.
we're still continuing the legacy.
Yeah.
So how did DSC shape you as a person?
So one as the DSE and Delhi University,
Yeah.
overall, we had good professors, and we also at that point in time there was a lot of engagement with the corporate world as well, because we would get guest lecturers from various corporates to come and speak on subjects, and from time to time we would participate in some group discussion stuff. So it was pretty hands-on. I mean, it was not very theoretical. The best part about
More practical.
it was very practical in nature, and as a result of which a lot of my batch actually went and joined some of the export houses. They did their summer training and eventually joined those. There were few of them who went and joined FICCI and IGCC because those were the general companies coming to campus at that time, and a few of us made through the banking sector
industry.
I mean, because we had done international business, the aspiration was to do a line, get chosen in a line of business which was related to trade finance, so that you could deal with cross-border trade.
So any moments of DSC you remember, or like any particular spots you used to hang out the most?
One I remember, so the coffee shop was very famous there.
Yeah.
And there was a guy called Rawat. I don't know whether he's still there, but he used to be very famous at that time. And the coffee shop used to get people from all over.
From all around, like-
FMS, from Hindu, all of them. We used to have people coming to the coffee shop. And that was one hangout area. The other hangout area, there was a big tree in front of the.
In that coffee shop itself.
No, outside the building. There was a big tree with a round.
In front of the canteen.
In front of the canteen. So I think a lot of people sat there. I mean, that was the big hangout
It's
space.
still the most.
Still there?
Okay,
good.
it's still there. So that's great. So
And that whole area in front, it's.
so we are
it's still
connected with the
same.
friends at DAC right now.
Yeah, some of them, yes. I'm still
So like
connected
in
through WhatsApp.
Mumbai also, or internationally as well.
Mumbai also, internationally also. I think that some people have moved abroad. So yeah, in touch with them as well.
So like after DAC as well, like what was your experience as Bradford College, and why and how did you land up there?
Okay. So after I completed Masters of International Business from DSC, I joined Axis Bank. The first 3 years I spent in retail banking. Then eventually I also aspired to move to trade finance. So I joined corporate banking operations, and a part of the trade finance team. But having done 6 years, I was looking to do something more. And this is when I realized that there was a scholarship called as Shivning Scholarship. And I got selected amongst 12 women all over India for India, all across India, across all lines of businesses. So that is, I cleared the scholarship and then I went to University of Bradford. So this was a course on leadership and strategic management.
So like after 6 years, you're saying you went from Mike. So
Yeah.
there's a need of upscaling.
Oh yes, there's a need of upskilling not only in the early part of the career, but also once you reach
For the later
your mid path, I think there's a need of upskilling at all levels because not only the industry is changing, the academics is also changing because now people who are doing MBA now they are more they are more understanding the AI and the relevance of AI in the current world. Whereas in our times we didn't have those kind of subjects.
So do you think that,
So-
as you mentioned about AI, so what impact it is putting on the banking industry, and is it welcoming to them, or like it's still evolving and still the bankers need to know that how to use it?
It's still evolving and it is an enabler because lot of work is now being outsourced to certain organizations who have AI capabilities. For instance, I can tell you in HR, when you want to hire a candidate, earlier you needed people in HR to view CVs, screen CVs, and all. A lot of it is now being given to AI. So AI will sort the CVs, AI will pick the words, the catchwords that are there, and then the CVs are thrown up, and then the HR person reviews those CVs and pushes it out to the hiring manager.
So should the students who are wanting to come into the banking sector should be scared that their job will be gone by AI?
It can be an enabler also, and it can also be at you can also be at a disadvantage. But I would say we need to look at it as an enabler because it's also shortening the overall process. So the time taken to do a particular job also gets shortened by because of AI.
So we talked about Axis Bank, we talked about the leadership program that you did, and again you came to the banking sector. So how did you find this niche, and like why didn't you switch to some other sectors for some experience?
So I'll give you a brief background. Once during my time in MIB, so I through campus I got placed with Tata Motors actually. So I was planning to join their international business division, but the posting was in Bombay. I mean, I had options of Bombay, Pune, and Jamshedpur because at the plant. But Bombay being very expensive and having to provide for your own fooding and lodging, I thought the economics was not making any sense for me to move to Bombay at that stage. So that is why I chose. I went out and gave my resumes to a lot of institutions, including the banks, and I got selected by Axis, which was then called as the UTI Bank.
Yeah.
So I started there, and then eventually, as I said, I moved to retail, then corporate, and then after I came back from my Shielding scholarship, I joined Bank of America in New Delhi to cover the financial institution segment.
So like, how was the journey ahead? Like from Bank of America, like what was your experience there, and how was it different from the previous banks?
So Bank of America gave me a lot of opportunity to grow. One, I transitioned from a private sector to a foreign bank, so the culture was very different. Plus, in Axis, I was in an operations role, so which is a client facing but a back office role. But in Bank of America, I moved into a frontline sales role because currently, so I've continued in financial services industry, financial institution segment for from 2007 onwards, and the job is to meet various banks. So, we cover public and private sector banks in India for cash and trade business. So I've been within the same segment from almost 2007.
Great.
And so culture-wise, Banking was very good. Plus, gave a lot of room to grow. So I was there for 3 years in Delhi, and then I moved to Bombay for work through Bank of America. I, took a transfer to Mumbai because most of the financial institutions are here, so it made sense from a growth perspective.
So just to a small question, Bombay or Delhi?
Delhi. I think I'm very clear on that.
So we talked about the banking for the students watching. Like this, how does someone start a career in banking today, especially in the transactional corporate roles?
So one always, you have different personality types. Some people would want to be in a frontline sales role. So I would only recommend people who are interactive and to get engaged and move towards a corporate banking role. But if you are somebody who's an introvert and who's happy doing Excel sheets, PPT, and stuff like that, a mid office role is also fair. There are many roles which are dual roles, so you can be in a mid office or a back office kind of a role as well. They are also a part of the bank. So you have large shared service centers or BP or KPOs who are there, so you can be a part of that as well.
So like, what's this some go-to list that these should be the qualities in the person that should definitely go for banking or not? if you see?
So should be one, as I said, should be ready to mingle with people, because in sales you need to go out and meet people of all lines of businesses. Also, there's a lot of perseverance required, because in corporate banking, again, you will have targets related to
Yeah.
sales. So initial part of your career, you might not get successes, so you need to persevere through.
So now that you're director and head of sales at Deutsche Bank, so how does it feel to lead across various countries like India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Maldives?
Yeah, so it is exciting because each country is very different. The client set is also very different. Their cultures are different. So you have to approach accordingly. Like, if I give you an example, for instance, next week I'm traveling to Bangladesh to meet the clients for about a week. And Bangladesh has a very hospitable culture. So when you go and meet them, there's food on the table in each meeting. So it's very different from what we do in India or any of the other geographies. So each country is different and, has its own nuances.
So you are really using the international aspect
Yes,
that you took
absolutely.
at the DSC,
Absolutely.
like getting the maximum
Yeah,
exposures,
yeah.
right? So, like talking about your day at life. So how does it start right from the morning and how does it goes till the night? How hectic it is?
So, as I said, I'm in a sales role. So, obviously, there's a lot of focus on the revenue numbers. Uh, and we have a set of clients. For instance, in India, we deal with about 20 to 25 clients, public and private sector both. So my initial part of the day goes in, looking at the revenue numbers, looking at deals and pipeline. Typically, in a sales role, you're expected to monitor the pipeline, every month. So I need to keep an eye which deals are closing, whether the team is actually, working towards it, uh, to ensure that it's closely completed. And so the position that I am in, I'm an enabler for these deals. So I have a team of about 3 people here in India, and we are ably supported by one person in Sri Lanka who's a part of a different team, and Bangladesh we have a couple of people there. So the idea is to ensure that the deals are not stuck anywhere. And again, there'll be a few high priority deals. For instance, if you're doing something with State Bank of India, then you would want to follow up, call the relevant person, and push for your cash and trade business.
That's really interesting to like, as myself also, I'm more getting inclined towards the banking because the scope is international, of course, as I can see you today as well.
Yeah.
So, what are the biggest challenges that you face as a leader, and like, what's the most fulfilling part in that?
Biggest challenges.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you are at a very big position right now today. So,
So at this stage, I would say people management is a big challenge, because you need to keep them motivated, and stakeholder management. I think this is one skill which everybody needs to know, because the stakeholders also have to be equally aligned for this.
to talked about challenges. Do you remember any particular failure that have taught you the most in the life?
I think one thing which I can say from my experience is that, uh, I mean, I've been working close to about 25 years now. That it's not going to be a straight path. I initially started with retail banking, and at that point in time, the other side looked greener. Because we had a lot of correspondent banks coming in. We had JP Morgan, we had people from Wells Fargo coming and meeting us in Axis Bank, and selling the same products that I am selling now to clients. So I wanted to be on the other side, and that's how I switched over. But it was not a very straightforward journey. Sales is a very difficult, line of business to be in, and you need to consistently perform every year, because that is what the demand of the time is.
Ma'am, any particular thing you would like to share to the students right now, or about how the way they approach the colleges, like by selecting or doing the post graduation?
Yeah, so look, as obviously after your GDN interview, they would want to get into IIMs or the top, 5 MBA colleges. But having said that, I would say DAC, made us persevere more and made us approach the institution, because we were very focused and working with the placement cell to ensure that the full batch gets placed. And eventually, the full 40 of us did get placed, in a matter of 2 or 3 months. And I think everybody is doing well. Some people moved abroad with various international business institutions. Some people ventured into banking. So, the more or less, I wouldn't say that DAC put us at a disadvantage. It put us at an advantage because it made us more hungry for what we wanted to do and persevere more around it.
So like DAC is a really great opportunity, and
Yes.
you should not just run after the IIM tag. Like, is it something like that?
So at least in our times, the IM tag was definitely valuable, and because I do remember there were a couple of people after my graduation who decided to drop. They couldn't do it in the first year, so second year they decided to take a gap year and reappear for IIMs. But I would suggest, the course is good, the content is very good. So if you get a chance to enter into DSE, you should definitely go ahead and complete that, and eventually you will get your placements and summer trainings. You'll definitely get in the market.
So like students have got really good insights about the banking industry, about DSE, whether you should join or not, and how it's the corporate world's functioning. So coming to the end, I was very curious to know that did the 12-year-old Sugandha ever imagine that she'd grow up and lead institutional banking across countries, or like there was a completely different dream back then?
A 12-year-old? No, definitely 12-year-old. I wouldn't have been dreaming of getting into international business. But having said that, I also got influenced quite a bit because my dad in his job used to travel a lot. So he was more into engineering and defense. So he would either go to Europe or he would go to Japan for his work trips. So I did want a job which made me travel to other locations where I could understand the cultures better. But yeah, as a 12-year-old, no, I think it would have not occurred to me
So like
that I would come this far.
What you wanted to become? Like some people want to become cricketer.
I think I wanted to initially. I think I wanted to become a doctor, but by ninth or 10th, I realized that it was to have maths and bio together would have been very difficult. And if I just did bio and if I couldn't clear the medical examination, it would have been too much. So I chose a safer path. After my 12th, I went and joined College of Business Studies, and I thought it was fairly decent because it would lead me to doing an MBA. And yeah, I think things worked out well.
So that's really interesting, and it was really a great pleasure to have you, ma'am, today. And thank you so much for joining us. And for students as well, like you can like share this to your friends, or if you're looking to join DAC at the campus, so this is a go-to video for you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for having me here. And it's quite exciting to know that you guys have started doing something very unique, and hopefully more successes to come to you.
Thank you so
all
much,
the best
ma'am.
for your future.